Hey my friends, welcome back to the channel. I am Huck, and man am I glad to have you here on this one. My guest today, Dan Monroe from Movies, Music, and Monsters. And if you've seen his channel, you know where I'm getting that from. He's a really amazing YouTuber with incredible content on his channel. And if you are from Dan's channel and you came here from Dan, thank you so much for being here. Please do me a favor and hit subscribe on my channel while you're here. And don't forget to hit like before you weigh out. And if you're part of my subscriber community and you've never heard of Dan Monroe, well, please do yourself a favor, get over there, reciprocate in kind, and hit subscribe on Dan's channel. Now, if you are new to Dan and don't know who Dan Monroe is, I have created a sizzle reel that I will play for you just before our amazing conversation. And then you get to learn even more about the both of us. So sit back and relax and enjoy this great sizzle reel and the conversation that follows.
Hey guys, Dan Monroe here, talking about movies, music, and monsters.
Movies, music, and monsters.
Before we get started, I want to let everybody know about all the videos I've got coming up. What Happened to Tobor the Robot? Lost in Space, Land of the Giants, Planet of the Apes, Classic Universal Monsters, Ray Harryhausen, Hammer Horror Movies, V, Babylon 5, Starship Troopers, Logan's Run, Galactica 1980, Space Academy, Buck Rogers, Space 1999, Land of the Giants, The Time Tunnel, Saturn 3, Silent Running, all coming up, so stay tuned. HR Puffin stuff, one of my all-time favorites as a kid. So what the heck happened to the robot after Lost in Space? Whatever happened to Robbie the Robot? The $6 million man. Okay, guys, buckle up. This is gonna be a good one. I am what you would call a original Star Wars fan. Apes that talk. How cool is that? Oh man, the Valley of Gwangi. Definitely one of those super cool Saturday afternoon popcorn movies from the late 1960s, which always got a bad rap. Before we get started, I just want to put out a huge thank you to everybody who subscribed. Channel's taken off like crazy. Thank you. For the past 10 years, I've had like 5 subscribers on my page. Like maybe 10. But ever since I started posting all this cool Lost in Space stuff, it's gone crazy. I'm up to almost 1,000 subscribers in like a week. Amazing that the channel is almost at 10,000 subscribers. 10,000! We could almost buy our own ship for that. We are approaching 75,000 subscribers in 4 months. Guys, 100,000 subscribers in less than 6 months. Unbelievable. Thank you. I really do appreciate that from the bottom of my heart, and it really makes me glad to be able to share some really cool content with you guys. Without you, there would be no this. Thank you. The $6 million man definitely paved the way for some incredible action-adventure series throughout the 1980s, including The A-Team, MacGyver, Magnum P.I., Knight Rider, Miami Vice, Airwolf, The Incredible Hulk, The Fall Guy, and so many more. We could be here all day, but that, my friends, is the topic of another video. I've got a whole ton of new videos coming up really soon that I know you guys are just gonna dig. Feel free to stop by anytime as we continue talking about movies, music, and monsters.
Movies, music, and monsters.
Hey my friends, welcome back to the channel. I am Huck. I am very, very excited that you are here for this particular video. I'm going to be joined by a very creative person here on YouTube, and his name is Dan Monroe. I think you guys are going to get a big kick out of this guy. His videos are amazing. I'll leave links down below for all of his stuff. You got to go check him out. But look, without further ado, let's just bring him on right now. Here he is. Dan, how are you, sir?
Hey, I'm doing good. How are you?
Oh, fantastic. I cannot wait to talk about your channel and the direction you've taken it. It's really taken some great spikes.
I'm surprised, quite frankly, because, I had a YouTube channel for years and it just sat there, it was just, you put up some music videos. And then about 7 months ago in January, I put up a video about the Lost in Space robot that I built.
This is the robot from Lost in Space. My sensors indicate you're attempting contact with Daniel Monroe. Daniel Monroe is currently aboard the Jupiter 2 and cannot take your call. However, if you leave your name, phone number, and a short message, I will compute the data into my memory banks and advise Dan that you called. This is the Lost in Space robot.
And I got a notification from YouTube that you went from 300 subscribers to over 900. And if you go a little more, you can be monetized and become a thing. I'm like, wait a minute, what's going on here? So being the kind of person that I am, I thought, all right, I spent about a month not a month, maybe a week looking at other YouTube channels and going, okay, I like that not so much. That is way too negative. And I sort of sat down in an Excel spreadsheet and a platform where I drew everything out and said, all right, let's try this. And I started, and we're 7 months later, and I'm well over 100,000 subscribers. Absolutely crazy, really unheard of.
It is. Look, I'll even show everyone a screenshot. Here's Dan's page, and look at that, y'all. It's like 112. I just took this a couple of hours ago. So at 112K subscribers and 131 videos, you are killing it, my friend.
Well,
that's impressive growth.
People seem to like it. And one thing that I thought was really crucial when I started out to do this was I'm a huge Star Wars fan, and I always have been.
I am what you would call a original Star Wars fan.
I'm not going to lie. I'm not a fan of Disney Star Wars. Disclaimer, if you are, there's nothing wrong with that. I don't like it. And, I'm old. I like the original stuff. But, these days when I put Star Wars into YouTube and I bring up the big channels, it's nothing but negative. You know what? I know that you're looking for clicks, and I know negativity sells, but I'm not going to do it. So I decided right off the bat that everything that I do, even if it's a movie like, I don't know, Silent Running or Galactica 1980 that clearly wasn't all that great, I'm going to find out what's good about that and talk about it. And I think the positivity, well, from what I've heard from the subscribers, which are like friends and family to me now, they're amazing, these guys. They really like that aspect because they know when they sit down to put on one of my videos, it's not going to be negative, too much negativity.
Oh, absolutely. That's what I do love about your channel is you approach everything, even like the Galactica 1981 and Saturn 3, you understand that there might be some negativity towards them, but you're like, but hey, let's just do a deep dive and check them out anyway. Now you first started with the B9 robot, right? So when you started your channel, so one question is, what did you want it to be, or were you just simply starting a YouTube channel? But then when you rebranded it, I would feel like that moment came with that B9 robot video.
Well,
and that took off. So
yeah. When I say I had a YouTube channel, I didn't have a YouTube channel that I created. I just had a YouTube channel. My wife and I have a music studio here in New York where we teach voice and we teach guitar, teach piano. In fact, we've had kids like our own students on American Idol, on The Voice, on America's Got Talent, like on the TV show. Fantastic. I was involved with music years ago, but it wasn't branded. It was just, hey, here's like Facebook, here's some stuff. But then when that particular series of Lost in Space stuff started taking off, I thought, well, maybe there's something here, but if I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it right. So I really try to. And if you look back at some of my very early videos from 7 months ago, I'm sitting here at my desk and my hair is really long and I got a t-shirt on. And the channel kept growing, but I thought, all right.
I love when you dial it in. It's so good.
One of the things I always was told when I was a kid was I used to perform all the time. I'm a performer at heart, and people would say, someday you got to have a late night talk show. And in a way, that's kind of what this is. It's me at a desk talking about cool stuff that everybody loves. Memories of these shows and movies are so ingrained in us, from when we were kids. I just think it's great to take a really positive aspect looking at this stuff, bringing back as many memories as possible. The nostalgia factor, you know what I mean? Which I know there are a lot of channels, a ton of them, that deal with nostalgia, that talk about the old shows and the old movies. There are a ton of them, but I wanted to find a niche that was maybe a little different, that incorporated a bit of my performance or some comedic elements and being on camera, kind of like a big time, like the set that I'm in. It's not that big set that you see me in all the time with the desk and the robots on either side. It's
Right.
fake. I created all that in Adobe After Effects. I just sit over there at a desk in front of a green screen. But my point was, I wanted it when people tuned in to go, oh wow, look at that. That's cool. That's cool. I wanted that. I wanted people to go, you know what, that's cool. And then ended up being one of my catchphrases, like way back in the day,
Here it
back in the
comes.
day, 3
Yeah.
months ago, I was
Right.
doing a show on something, Robbie the Robot or something. And I made a point, and I just to myself said, oh, blah, blah, blah. How cool is that?
How cool is that?
And all of a sudden, how cool is that became really popular. Like, there's cups and t-shirts now with how cool is that on it. I'm like, what in the world? So I have to make sure I put that in every one of my videos.
You
Kinda
mean
cool.
this set right here? Look at
That's
there.
it.
Look at that.
Yeah. No, interesting about that photo. Can you go back to that?
Sure.
So yeah, the robot is my robot. That's the one you see behind me. I green screened him in. The Robbie, and this is awesome. That Robbie is the actual 1956 Robbie from Forbidden Planet. I took that picture from a Bonham's auction and I made his sensors spin digitally.
Nice.
The Jupiter 2 on the floor is one of the actual Jupiter 2s. If you look up above me, you see Colossus from the Forbin project, the little ball.
That's what that is. I
Yeah,
kept
it's
trying to figure that
Colossus.
that orb.
Yeah, and then the background is some random picture of some home theater that I blurred out. But yeah, and then
Perfect.
behind me for every show, I'll put picture of what I'm talking about, and I'll put stuff on the desk. But I don't know, I might change it up every couple of months, but it seems to be working.
So the thing behind you, is that actually a giant curved TV screen, or is
No,
that also part of your
no,
smoke and
everything
mirrors?
you're looking at is digital. I kind of go way back with video production and video editing, and I'm a big fan of After Effects. So and that's one thing I hear a lot about, a lot from people. When they email me, crazy thought, I actually email them back. I
Yes,
do.
you
I'm like,
do.
hey, thanks for writing. I really appreciate it. And they're like, oh my god, you wrote back. I'm like, what? Yeah, I wrote back. And they're like, well, we figured
Yeah.
you'd be too busy. All your staff. I have no staff.
All your staff. Yeah,
None.
you're
No,
it.
no. Me. That's it.
Staff of
I,
one.
I write the shows.
Yeah.
I research the shows. I film the shows. I edit the shows. I create everything. I download the pictures. I mean, it's just me. So I check my email. If you write to me, I'll get back to you.
Now, I wanted to say, because you mentioned earlier, you and your wife, you have some singing. I encourage people, when you go to Dan's channel, also look, like, I did some deep diving on your stuff, and I loved your Shallow and
Thanks. Eddie
Because.
Road. Oh, because yeah.
Yeah, so nice.
It is, and I leave them there for, to me, a personally nostalgic reason. Not to get too personal, but years ago, like in 1990, I began a musical career. There was a big competition that I won, and during those years from the 1990s on, did a lot of touring and playing with people like George Jones, Conway Twitty, Burton Cummings, and the Guess Who, American Woman. That guy, like
Right.
he played my piano, um,
Oh, nice.
and I had a couple of hits in Canada, and stuff like that, but nothing really major. But music was my thing. I really, really enjoyed music, and I had sort of a tenor voice. I used to do believe it or not, I did a John Denver tribute show.
Nice.
I didn't dress up like him, but I sang. When I sang, I kind of sounded like John Denver. To make a long story short, about 3 years ago, I literally woke up one day, went down to the studio, and my entire upper range of my voice had disappeared.
What?
Oh, I thought, well, I have a cold. Who knows? Let it go. Month after month after month, it's just gone. If I try to raise my voice up into the nothing
Yeah.
there. So I thought, crap. I don't know what happened. I saw specialists, and they all said, like Columbo would say, I don't know. We just don't know. It just kind of happened that way, um, Speaking of Columbo, got Columbo video coming out this weekend. So
Excellent.
at the exact moment, kind of, that I lost everything that I was doing with music, other than teaching, that went away. And I'm like, now what? This shows up. Unbelievable how life works, Absolutely incredible.
Yeah. And I just want to comment on how polished your videos. You can tell you have a performer background, like just from the get-go. When you do your movies, music, and monsters, there's a dead-on delivery that it's like you bring it. It's like a signature, like each little thing. How cool is that?
How cool is that?
Yeah, it's
Piece of
rehearsed.
gold.
I hate to admit it, but I kind of come from a theater background in college. We did all the
Right.
theater stuff. But after college, I got into performing at a local amusement park called Fantasy Island. And I was hired out of college at Fantasy Island, and I'll send you some pictures of this. There was, as part of this amusement park, a Western town, and they had a Western town stunt show. Okay. And this would have been 1987. And I was sitting in my college cafeteria, and a guy came up to me and he goes, "Hey, you're really tall. You want to be a cowboy at Fantasy Island?" I thought, wait, a what? Where?
Yeah,
What?
sure.
What are you talking about? So I went down and I auditioned, and I became the marshal of Western Town, who would shoot the bad guy off the roof and we would do stunts to deputize the kids. That was 1987. A few years later, I looked around and I thought, I can do this. So I took over the company, started writing my own shows, directing my shows.
What?
And then I ran all the entertainment at Fantasy Island for over 30 years, up until just a few years ago. In fact, if I'm walking down the street here in my town, people will still go, "Hey, Marshall." Crazy, a lot of fun. So I do have a performance aspect, but it took me probably a couple of days to figure out exactly how to say movies, music, and monster. I mean, you got to rehearse it. You just,
Right.
So
Right.
yes,
Right.
it is a bit of a performance thing.
Movies, music, and monsters.
Now, when you are seeking out your next topic, let's get into the juicy little pop culture, because obviously my channel is the Pop Culture Cafe, and I wanted that so I could just pretty much talk about anything I wanted to talk about, which is what you're doing. So when you sit down for the next idea, percolate, what is your process? Do you have a notepad and you've got like 50 things, and then you feel it out, and then how do you do the research? Because they're so well researched.
It is mostly attributed to my subscribers. They
Oh,
send me, they're like, "Hey, do this." I'm like, never seen it, never heard of it, but I did some recently that I had never really been involved that much with, but there was Arc 2. I mean, I never watched
Arc 2.
I never watched it, but it's cool because then you dive in and you learn stuff about it, and it makes one of my subscribers happy. Great, there's one.
How cool is that?
So most of them come from them. I do have a list that I maintain, which is unbelievably long at the moment.
I'd imagine.
I'm trying to space them out. A lot of the horror stuff I'm going to do Halloween time, that kind of thing. Once I get an idea, it takes me about 3 days to do a finished video.
Gosh,
which
that's fast.
which to a lot of people may seem like a lot, because I know that most YouTube channels, they do this. They set up a camera, they got a mic going, they talk, they throw in a couple pictures, it's done. I can't do that because there's too much of the digital, the editing, that kind of thing. I've only got one camera. So whenever you see it cut back and forth, it's cutting in and out, gives the illusion of more than one camera.
Right on, yeah.
So my process is basically, I'll get an idea and I'll spend the first day, all day, sitting here in front of my computer, researching Wikipedia, some just literally putting into Google the name of the show and just going crazy. I have voice recognition software, and one thing that really helps me, especially when delivering a performance, is I'll wear a headset and turn the voice recognition on. So as I'm reading something about that show, I'll read it the way I would say it. So then it kind of prints it out for me. Like that's exactly how I would say it. So I'm not really winging it. I do use a script to some extent, but the script is written exactly the way I would say it. So hopefully it comes across sounding natural, where it
Yeah.
doesn't sound like you're reading, that kind of thing. The second day I film, and then that entire evening, which takes hours, is I have to create whatever background I'm going to use for that show, find the stuff I'm going to put on my desk, and then go through the chroma key green screen removal of 40 minutes of footage, which will eventually be cut down the next day to 18. Throw in as many pictures as I can find, throw in interviews, and then hopefully by the end of the third day, it's ready to go. Hopefully. Don't see much of my wife, but
Well, I do feel they come together exquisitely. I think you can see your passion when you're putting them together. Similar to you, like I have this thing. I mean, yeah, I do this live, but I do a lot of edited stuff too.
oh
And you
yeah,
never know. Like it's always like the things I do the least work on get a lot of views. And the thing
right.
I will absolutely love, like I went to a few years ago, Peterson Museum had the James Bond exhibit out here in
Oh,
California, and I did a full like video. It is awesome. Like it's got the cars and the boats and the props and everything. The submarine was there. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go shoot this thing. It's gonna be, I think it's like just under 20 minutes or around there. Like one of the best things I've ever cut. And I put it out 1 week before Daniel Craig's last Bond movie. I'm like,
mm.
this is gonna go viral. It's perfect. The timing is perfect. And it's still one of the least viewed things. And it blows my mind. you know?
Yeah, I had a very rude awakening kind of early on. I was doing shows, and then I kept saying, well, my wife would say, "Hey, when are you going to do the big stuff? Star Wars, Star Trek, Beatles." I'm like, I'm waiting. I'm
Mhm.
gonna wait to do the big stuff because I know that's the stuff that's gonna fly. So I put so much work into my first Star Wars video. I even talked about Disney and kept it positive. And I threw it out there and it did absolutely nothing.
Uh,
Okay. All right.
mm,
All right. Well, you
eh,
know what? No, stay positive. It's
yep, yep.
simply bad timing. Ha ha. Star Trek. All right. I found out all about everything I could find out about the shuttlecraft. I found out where it was, what happened to it. Everybody loves the Star Trek shuttlecraft. God, I spent days on it and threw it out there and it did less than
Oh my
nothing.
gosh. Yeah.
Beatles.
Huh.
Beatles. Every couple of years, my wife and I, in fact, we're going in 2 weeks. Hey, London guys, we're going to be in Bristol in 2 weeks. Come say hi. And we go to Abbey Road because I know people who work there. Like I'm walking
I
around
saw that.
Abbey Road. So I did a
That was a
video
great
about
video.
behind the scenes at Abbey Road. It didn't do anything.
I love
So
that video. I was so
yeah,
good.
I liked it too. But here's what I found out.
What's that?
If you talk about topics that are already too heavily covered, you're dead.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Nobody is talking about Saturn 3.
That is true.
Nobody's talking about the bionic dog. Nobody's talking about
Yeah.
Columbo or what happened to Gortz from the day the Earth stood still.
That was
Or,
awesome.
Buck Rogers in the 25th century. But you go to talk about Star Wars, there's no point. Everything's been said. Even my fans, I think when they go, "Oh, Beatles, yeah, well, you know." So I tend to stay away from the super big topics.
Yeah, I just watched your $6 Million Man,
Oh yeah.
and it dives deep, man. And you love Bigfoot just like me. I mean, who didn't love Bigfoot? The tunnel that they go through is that ride at Universal, which I've gone through many times, and every time, all I can think of
Oh, is it
is
still
that.
there?
Not anymore. Not
Ah,
anymore. The tunnel now is what they've built the Fast and Furious exhibit in. Like the tram goes in there, and then you're surrounded by screens everywhere.
it's so cool
So,
because in the show, if you look on the floor, you can see the tracks. They just covered it with a blanket.
right?
It's awesome.
Have you been to it when it was there?
Oh no, no.
Because the one it's like if you just keep looking straight forward and while it's turning, you definitely start to feel like your tram car is doing this.
Oh, okay, I got.
Like
Oh,
if
so
it,
it was a rotational thing. Yeah,
yeah, because it's fully rotate. And like if you break the illusion and look down at the ground, like you're saying,
yeah.
then it stops. And you're like, okay, reality. But as soon as you look up, like it's a very trippy thing it does to
Well,
your
what actually got?
mind.
You can hear my voice cracking. I gotta keep
Yeah.
it low, Johnny Cash.
Like Peter,
Yeah.
time to
Oh God,
change.
I feel like I'm going through puberty again at 55. So, what actually got your channel started? I mean, and how long have you been around?
I started about 3.5 years ago,
Oh, wow.
rebranding it. Like you, I think I've had it since 2009, of something like that. Just putting up mashups. Like I would mash up Star Trek and the A-Team. What if, I would use the theme song to the A-Team, but put Star Trek images on it. It's one of the few videos I've got over 1 million views on, which is pretty cool, but I can't monetize something like that because I'm using the copyright music.
Right.
But I love just sort of playing with the what ifs and mashing two things up. I did a Star Wars with the Gilligan's Island theme on that. And it's so funny because the first A-Team Star Trek I did, a lot of people downloaded it and then reposted it on their
Oh,
own channels. And
oh.
one person
But
would
do
not
they
give
give
me
you
credit.
credit though? Oh,
Not
yeah.
none. In fact, people kept complimenting him, dude, good job on that. And I was like, so I called him out, and I'm like, bro, it's me. Well, how do I know it's you? So here you go with the negativity. They're like, how do I know it's you? Well, because if you look for this video, the first time you'll ever see it is on my channel.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? But you have to convince, and then it just became a thing. So
It can be crazy. One of the weirder things about this whole experience is the fact that there are people out there or companies or bots or something that duplicate you. Like people contact me all the time and they say, "Hey, in the comments, why are you offering a $10 discount in some Chinese country?" And I look and it's movies, music, there's a picture of me. I'm like, "Well, that's
yeah.
not me." So
Yeah.
you gotta try. Have you had that happen?
I had it happen not for my channel, but there's another channel I listen to a lot, and they say, "Hey, leave a comment and all this stuff at a million,
Yeah.
subscribers. We're going to give away a PlayStation 5." And then so I got an email or something saying, "Hey, you won the PlayStation. Just contact me, and need you to pay for like shipping or something like
Yeah,
that."
of course.
Instantly, I knew that was not right.
Yeah.
So I contacted the YouTuber and told him, and ever since then, you will hear him telling people that if you get
Yeah.
things like that, do not accept them, because I let him know. I let him know that stuff was happening.
Yeah,
So
I put posts up on the
scary.
community page. I love the community page, by the way. It's awesome. Do you use it? Like to keep
I
your
I
people?
need to use it more. This year,
It's
it's
great.
like I have a lot of movie goals, right? And this one, like this year, you would ask like, what made me start this? As I saw a lot of people doing this kind of thing, but like you, I have a performer background, so I wanted to just sort of bring my personality to that thing. And it's such a great community now because I have people on my show, legit friends now. Like I have friends that I text daily on Instagram that I've met on YouTube and Instagram, that I don't even like do that to friends that live here with me, right?
Right.
Because
Yeah.
we've just have this common thing, and yeah, so that's what got me to start it. But
Yeah, that's amazing. The amount of people that have reached out to me and the amount of, people in the business that like I'll post something like I'm going to do King Kong whatever it was, 79. What was the second King Kong movie? I'm going to do a King Kong movie.
76,
Yeah,
76, I think.
76. Yeah, so, but then people reach out to me and they're like, "Hey, I was the executive producer of key lighting on that film. Here's some pictures." It's amazing the people. I ran a guy named Kelly Delcom who has works for Block 4, was the one that provided me all the incredible restoration images of the alien head. And
Oh, that was so good.
he was the guy that put together the whole $6 million man exhibit from the last movie. He's got there's a really obscure movie from I think 77 called The Island of Dr. Moreau. I don't know. Did
Oh
you ever
yeah.
see that?
Oh
Burt
yeah.
Lancaster.
Mhm.
Just love that movie.
Yeah.
Terrible, really, but so
Right.
great. That one's coming up. But he's got pieces from that were restored, parts of the animal masks. So, it's amazing the amount of doors that have been opened. It really is.
So with that, so when you're making it and you don't tell people it's coming, or maybe you do, and that's how they find you, like, how do they know you're about to do that and supply you with it? Or is that part of your research and you find them and ask
No,
them?
no, it's the community page.
Oh, the community page. All right.
One week before, like 4 days ago, I put up that my next video that I'm doing is everybody's favorite lieutenant. Just one more thing, Columbo. And so I got reached out from Colombo people. But the community page, one thing that really helps me as what do they call us? Not influencer, creators. What are we? We're just
Well, yeah, well, we're
creators.
YouTubers,
Yeah, oh,
creators,
YouTube.
and
Sorry.
it,
One thing that really lets me know how a video is going to do in the future is the reaction of the number of likes from the next video topic that I put up. So if I put up something that says coming next week, Land of the Lost, I can judge by the number of likes on it if it's going to be a good video. If it's over 1,000 likes, it's going to be a good video.
yeah, so just so y'all know, I'm popping it up right now, and Dan's so right. It's like I'm looking at Columbo, and you got 1.2 thousand likes on
Okay,
Columbo
so that means that one's going to
already.
be okay. That one's going to be pretty good. But if you go down and look at the $6 million man, it's like 1.7. So I'm like, all right, that's a big one.
Yeah, and I like how you actually got a shot of your editing software with
Yeah,
Steve Austin up there.
I am someone who is infatuated with TV and movie behind the scenes stuff. Like when I buy a
Same.
Blu-ray, I'm watching the bonus features, baby.
Yes,
And a lot
sir.
of people, a lot of people are like, "Hey, how do you do this?" I'm like, "All right, well, it's this. It's me at a desk with 8 monitors, editing all day."
Yeah, and people don't understand, like, editing is a skill. You've got to have patience. You got to have all your elements, music, effects, transitions,
Yeah.
clips. It's a lot of work ingesting all that and then cracking the knuckles and go, okay, how do I want this to look?
The thing is that, and I am nowhere near the point where I could have employees. I'm not. I mean, the channel does provide income. There's no question. Mostly from the sponsors.
Oh, that's nice. Let's talk about that.
Like
Yeah.
when I first got my first couple of checks or payments from YouTube, I'm like, oh, wow, that's okay. We're spending an extra week in London. But then
Nice.
I start, I have a company that works with me on my behalf as the middleman, called Algebra Media, and they are the ones that reach out to you and they say, "Hey, Squarespace, they're interested. You talk about them for 90 seconds. They pay you X." And I remember thinking, 90
Okay.
seconds?
Yeah.
Sign me up. And but
Yeah.
I will say in my defense, especially with a product I did called AG1, which is that green drink that you drink for your health. It's all the vitamins and that stuff.
Yeah.
I will not do anything for a product that I don't either personally use or believe in. A lot of people do. And I'm losing a lot of money because of it. They reach out to me and they go, "Hey, how about this?" Like, no, that's not me. So, hey, how about this new gambling app? No, pass. And you know what? That's money. But I'm not going to do it because I don't believe in the product. I'm not going to do it.
I'm happy to hear that, and I know the people that would watch your channel know that too, because I saw that drink you had. So,
Oh, it's
how does that
awesome. I
make
do
you
it every
feel?
day. It's
Yeah.
fantastic. It tastes terrible, but you feel so good when you do it.
Really?
No, it doesn't taste that bad. It tastes like a combination of lemonade and grass.
Oh, sign me up.
Oh yeah, right.
Let's talk about the YouTube award. When you pass the 100K, you've got your great silver button there.
They
What was
did.
that like when you got that? Was that a thing, or were you like,
That's there it is.
there you go.
Yeah. It's fine. It's okay. But
Yeah.
it's not as important as keeping my subscribers happy. When, I could get 100 of those and hang them all over the house. It's a thing, it's shiny, it looks cool. But to me, when I go into the comments or my emails and I actually hear positive things from people that have enjoyed the content that I'm doing, that is worth 1,000 times more than that to me.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm with you on that. Like, I do a live show every Tuesday morning, and we get a lot of the same people, and it's international too. I have people all over the world tuning in, Finland, England,
Oh wow.
all kind. Yeah, it's pretty fun. In fact, every time, yeah, I'll even show you. So every time I get a new watcher from a different part of the world, I just put it in my phone, all the locations. So
Oh,
now,
that's neat.
I
Yep.
know. Okay, the people that are in Canada, it's 5:41. In London, it's 10:41 p.m. So I kind of know what time they're watching me, and there's sort of a little gas you get from knowing that people are
Yeah.
enjoying that content.
Yeah,
And
for sure.
there's a lot of keyboard bandits out there that just troll you and want to say bad things, and
Um,
we try to kick those to the curb and block those people. But don't let
this
me
may
down.
sound terrible. I don't read a lot of comments. I do read comments. I absolutely do. But I'm not going to say I spend hours a day reading a lot of them.
Oh, me neither. Yeah.
I really don't. Personal messages, email messages. I get a lot of emails from people. And if anybody wants to email me, just go to my website, which is, what is it?
Wait,
Moviesmusicmonsters.com. Oh,
right
hey,
down
yeah.
there.
Go to the
Right down
website
there.
there. And there's a contact button for email. That goes to me. It goes that comes right to me. Just email me. That's great. Um, yeah, there's a lot of negativity, but there's a lot of different types of people in the world, and if that guy from that place wants to waste 4 minutes of his day to insult the fact that I need a haircut, well, I whatever, dude.
Yeah. Yeah.
What? Or if I do catch one, I
Yeah.
will absolutely slaughter them with the nicest reply
Exactly.
I can
Right.
possibly come up with.
That's the best.
But getting back to this, I mean, don't get me wrong. It's nice. It's cool. It's very heavy. And people are like, "Oh, great! You can put it behind you in the videos like everybody else."
No, no, you don't have to do that.
No,
No, no. It's nice
no,
to show it off, but what you've got a
no.
look that you've got to maintain, and
You
throwing
know what
that
though?
shiny button behind you kills it.
Yeah, but
So
you know what though? It's not that.
yeah,
And the reason is because if you knew me as a person, despite my years of performance and doing all kinds of things where I'm always involved with the public, I'm so used to looking out at groups of people, being in performance. I don't have that kind of an ego. And I am so glad that I don't have that kind of an ego because I would be a monster if I did, and
yeah,
I have been to certain conventions where I've seen, hey, that's that YouTube guy. It's a jerk.
yeah.
Come
Oh yeah,
on. The only reason you and I are doing this is because of them. And I remind them
yeah,
of that constantly. I'm
yeah.
constantly, I'll put things up on my community page that simply say, hey, haven't told you guys how much I appreciate you this week. Because if it weren't for you, there'd be no me, you know?
Oh yeah.
So,
Now
uh, you know,
I love that though. Like keeping it positive, I think really I think it gives our channels a more longevity. I think people inherently just want that. They want to be pumped up. That's what my Tuesday morning is. It's like literally like going into a cafe. It's called the morning mug. It's like you walked in, you
oh,
pulled up a chair, and we just started talking about box office and Hollywood news. Here it is. Check it out. Box office, killing it. And it's all positive. People always like, how are you so up? I'm like, it's
so
just
do you have more than one channel?
no, no, no. I just do
Oh,
a,
oh,
a show on this channel called The Morning
gotcha.
Mug,
Oh, I see.
which is
Okay.
just a staple, and that's it's my way to be able to do like talk about new releases coming out and I always do it on Tuesday because that's new release day. So,
Right.
that'll be a big
Right.
talking
No, that's
point.
cool. Nice, nice.
So,
Yeah, a lot of people have said, "Hey, you should start another channel on politics."
oh Lord.
No, no, God,
No, no.
no, no.
There's a ton of those
You
too.
but you know what the
Yeah.
sad part is? I would probably have a
What's it?
million by now. If I
Wow.
went that route and did commentary on this garbage politic crap, you know what I mean? You'd
Yeah. Yeah.
probably,
Yeah.
I'm not doing it. Like, shoot me. No,
Yeah. Yeah, there's so
yeah,
many already. Again,
yeah.
like you said, you have found a nice little niche that is catering to people that really want to see these things.
Right,
So,
right.
with that, I'll have two more things for you. One is, let's talk about your nice, sweet little merch because I can't turn the camera, but behind me are all these mugs. So, for
Oh, come
example,
on.
no,
Oh
no,
yeah.
no, no, no.
Oh yeah. Oh, gotcha. Yeah, yeah.
So because my thing's called the morning mug, I've started
Yep,
to
yep.
collect mugs, and so now I'd love to, like, of course, order one of your. How cool is that? Because I love showing off mugs now
Nice,
in the
nice.
morning. So yeah,
And I really don't have anything to do with it. A merch company said, "Hey, if you upload some logos, we'll just do it." I'm like,
no way.
okay. Because, but again, though, you'd have to know
Yeah.
me as a person. The merchandise is, to me personally, a little
Yeah.
embarrassing. I'm like,
Oh, is it? Yeah, yeah.
a little, because
A
I'm just
little.
me. I'm just me. I'm not. I don't have that. You know what I mean? Like I'm going to a convention this weekend, and I'm scared to death. I'm going to see somebody with a "How cool is that" T-shirt. I wouldn't know whether to say "How cool is that" or "Oh my God, I've become a product." But yeah, it's cool. I would never have done that on my own, but some company said, "Hey, we'll do it." So, all right.
Well, I just sort of dial it in like this. Just think of it as a way to sort of like, um, it's a brand, like your channel's a brand now,
Right,
and
right.
people love to sort of like celebrate their fondness of things, whether that's a hat, a T-shirt, a mug, or whatever.
Yeah,
And when you
I
see
have
them
to
at your
start.
at your convention, they're gonna
I
come
have
up to you and they're gonna have that T-shirt, and you're just gonna have to go, cool. How cool is
Yeah,
that?
that's that's what my wife says. She says you know
Yeah.
you have to understand that it's just a thing that represents something that people like. You know what I mean? It's just I'm not used to it yet.
Would you be open to if somebody said, "Dan, could you come and do a panel and talk to people that want to do what you do and like inspire them?"
Sure. Oh, I would do a panel talk. Absolutely. I would definitely enjoy if the topic were right and if I knew something about it, you know, Lost in Space, you know, Star Wars, Beatles, whatever. I could talk for hours. That's my thing. One thing I wouldn't do, and you'll probably never see me doing it, I will never be that guy with my poster behind me at a table going $30 for an autograph. Never going to happen. Never. I hope that
Yeah, yeah.
I hope I never become that.
So what it sounds like is you'll give free autographs if a fan stops by. Love that. Excellent.
I guess if you want
Yeah.
one, sure.
You know, it's funny though. It's like it's amazing how you don't know what people are thinking. You know, I was in a movie, Steel Frontier, right? My one and done, right? It's a post-apocalyptic Mad Max type movie ripoff. And I
Was
do this
this
character Chicken Boy, right? And
theatrical?
it's come out in conversation a couple of times, and people have now found the DVD, and then they send it to me and ask me to sign it
Was
because
that
they, we
theatrical?
it was theatrical, yeah. Well, it was in the heyday, you'll know, in the '90s where straight to home video was a
Okay,
very lucrative market. And
right.
you had like Roger Corman, Full
Yep,
Moon, PM Entertainment. PM Entertainment was sort of the low budget action sci-fi
yeah.
company. And so it was a straight to video, but it was in the video stores. I have a picture of me standing next to it, like, oh my God, look at that. You know, it's like a little, I can't believe this has happened. So
But more importantly, were you credited and did you get residuals?
not only was I credited, they put my name on the box and the poster, even though I may not be, in my opinion, like the top 3 or 4 actors in it, but because I was positive, you know, like you said, if you give off positive vibes, it kind of comes back to you. So it's always
What is
positive on
wait,
set.
what is this movie called?
It's called Steel Frontier.
He's the one bringing firebrand justice to the steel frontier.
And you see a trailer for it. It's basically Brian James from Blade Runner. He was in it. Kane Hodder, Jason Voorhees.
How did you get that part? Were you an
I
actor?
just I just went and auditioned for it. Yeah, as an actor, my manager got me the audition. And well, I'll tell you a secret too. So I was next, and I was sitting next to the door, and I could hear them giving direction to this other actor they felt was sort of close. But I heard everything they were looking for. So when I went in, I already knew everything they told him to bring in, I brought in right away. So like I messed my hair up. So my hair was all, you know, poking out like this. And just, I went for it. I just went for it. I said, can I basically use this whole space to act? Because, you know, chickens, right? That they move the head around. So I was like trying to do some sort of physical affectation of a
Yeah.
chicken. Like, why is this weirdo called Chicken Boy? And I left, didn't hear from him for 3 weeks. I'm like, this is killing me. Like, I at least should have had a callback. I can't believe they didn't, you know. And then like my manager toyed with me and she goes, all right, Brian, I heard back from the people. And she sounded super depressed. I'm like, oh, okay, let me have it. She goes, all right, well, all right. So you got the part. And like, and she did it on purpose to catch me off guard. And I'm like, whoa, back that up. What? She goes, yeah, you got the part. Yeah, you had the part when you left the room. I'm like, oh my God. Like, can you tell the person so they're not like sweating it out? But that's our process, you know, that
And
happens.
you didn't continue or
Oh no, it's just like it's so funny. Like Dan, for this company, PM Entertainment, the casting director who was wonderful, she just sort of left the industry shortly after that movie. And the disappointing factor in that is, you know, once you've made a good impression, that person's going to call you in all the time. And I thought for sure I'm going to be lined up for at least a bunch of PM Entertainment movies and get 4 or 5 of those under my belt. But once she left and the new guy came in, which I won't divulge his name because he was not a pleasant person, he was not on my side, if you will. And, you know, I just kept at it for as long as I could. But then, you know, you grow up, you get married, you have a kid, you got to do responsible things. And I live at least an hour out of Los Angeles. So to drive into it, you get that lovely 405 LA traffic there and back. So it's almost could be 3 to 4 hours on the road alone for a 15-minute walk in, and you're out, and it's usually no.
Well, but I know what your problem is. You just told us all. You said that you had to grow up. No, never.
Yeah.
No, always surround yourself with toys that keep you young. Always. Oh, yeah. I'm sorry, I'm mid-50s, but I'm not. I'm 14.
I'm with you, man. I got toys everywhere. You don't see them up here, but I got these Mego superheroes, right? And it's like all the Batman figures.
Sure. I collect the Mego Apes ones. Yeah.
Oh, aren't those great?
They're great. I love them.
Your Planet of the Apes videos are fantastic as well. Clearly, we've dialed into a nice niche audience there.
Yeah, for sure.
Now, Dan, before I let you go, one last thing is you have, I'm sure, a nice little list. Columbo's coming up. Can you just give the audience one little tease about something coming up you'd love to do?
I absolutely can do that. In fact, if you want to, okay, here it is right here. I'll give you more than just a taste. Let's see. Future shows. Oh my God. Okay. So, The Angry Red Planet, The Dark Crystal, Jason and the Argonauts, Quartermass in the Pit, awesome movie. Them, the big ants, Creature from the Black Lagoon. Oh, Fantastic Voyage, because I know what happened to the Proteus ship. An incredibly bizarre TV movie from the 80s starring Dirk Benedict turning into a snake called Do you remember that movie? It's called
I do remember.
SSSS. Yeah.
I remember, yes.
What else we got here? Westworld, Space 1999, Space Academy, Dark Shadows. One of my biggest videos was Puffin Stuff. To this day. So, okay, I got Lidsville, Sigmund the Sea Monster, UFO. UFO for you British fans. Thunderbirds. Oh, cool. Prop stuff that I'm going to do videos about. Super cool guy named Fred Barton, who actually has a business who builds life-size Robbie the Robots for people. Just museum pieces. He was the guy, if you look in my Forbidden Planet Robbie the Robot videos, who at a very young age restored the original. So, okay. So we're going to do all about how Robbie was restored, what happened to the Discovery spaceship from 2001, the chair from the original Alien, Mother. Remember the Mother? They would talk to Mother. Know where that is?
Oh, yeah.
All kinds of stuff. The Flying Sub. What else we got here? The Thing from Outer Space. Oh, the Hammer horror movies. That's coming up in October.
Oh, yeah.
Enemy Mine. The Last Starfighter. And so many more. We could be here all day. But that, my friends, is the topic of another video.
Fantastic. Dan, thank you so much for being here. Again, I'm going to leave his information in the description below. So please, if you haven't had a chance to go to Dan's channel, get over there, click it, like, subscribe, check out his community tab and all that good stuff. He's well worth your time. He does amazing work. Dan, thank you again for being on the show. I appreciate your time.
Absolutely.
Please feel free to stop back anytime as we continue together the conversation on movies, music, and monsters.
Movies, music, and monsters.